Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. Yes, sir.
No more smart questions.
No more smart questions.
No more smart questions. Just a comment. I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
The seminar here. And I can say, starting, today and the past couple of days, I can say that I'm driving with no parking brake on. So
that's a release your brake comment. And I recommend it. Another book other than Tough-Minded Management and Tough-Minded Leadership by Joe Batten, Release Your Brake by my former mentor, Jim Newman, is a terrific book. And it basically says, in a sentence, we live our life with our emergency brake on. Now, in the old days, you had to take the emergency brake off. Now, when you put it in drive, even though I don't drive, the emergency brake comes off. But most of us go through life with our emergency brake on, and that's no way to go through life. And now, especially using the QLA model or mantra, I mean, if there was ever a financial system or financial circumstances that were set up that I could have written, it'd be now. Now, I'm not saying that the kids now are retarded monkeys, but they're retarded monkeys making tens of millions.
Mr. Peña, this crisis thing, we expect recovery, but we know it's going to be slow. How slow is it going to be?
3 to 5 times longer than you think.
Like 10 years?
I don't think that... I think that we're going to unfortunately have another COVID that is devastating.
New topic, but I was wondering who painted that? And
Howard Morgan, one of the great worldwide portrait painters, and I told him that painting would make him famous, and it did. He won the world, the world, and then he painted the Queen Mom, Gorbachev, the Queen, and a lot. Are you giving me the jolt, Sally? No, not yet. Okay. Huh?
So very quiet.
How was the dog? What? Okay. Well, is that the Lebanese kid? So
he was laughing.
He was surprised.
that's fine. But my Howard Morgan, 1987, and then 1986, and then my first wife was painted 1987. She was not a close buddy, but a colleague of Princess Di.
For how long did you pose for that?
Well, you're supposed to pose 50 hours. I posed 3 settings of 6 hours each. And you get sore in places you don't think you have muscles. And my dog Driller wasn't there, and they drove him down, and they got a homeless guy to put my coat on and my boots on. And he stood in my place, and Driller stood and was painted. We have a bunch of things that are worth a lot of money that we bought as just for fun. But we're going to someplace, and Sally wants a 25 carat ring.
I would like that.
And I said, "Isn't your 15 carat good enough?" She looks at me like, what are you, daft? Yeah. And I've never been able to understand diamonds and women, so I stopped trying to understand a long time ago. And Sally certainly. But the most fungible asset, in other words, the asset that you can turn into cash the quickest, are diamonds, not Bitcoin.
Boy, you're liquid then. I'm fighting.
Yeah, but Sally manages our money, and I don't manage anything. I haven't signed a check a long time. When we're in London, Sally gives me 20 pounds in case I get lost. but our driver is there. And when we're in New York, I get $20, which is a lot fucking less than 20 pounds.
Then call me, Mr. Peña. Call me. I'm right there.
Thank you.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But I mean, if we wanted, I wouldn't. When we go to the U.S., Sal and I would never have to buy. Is this the evil eye? We would never have to buy a dinner because we have a plethora of kids that want to buy us drinks and dinner, and we say thank you but no thank you. When we travel around the world, virtually every city we go to, we get offers, and we appreciate that. But we would rather spend the time privately. We do occasionally. Montenegro, okay. It's not likely I'll go to Montenegro. In fact, is that part of Balkan?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be gone. I mean, when Putin presses the envelope.
Back to politics, do you think that the Americans will invade Ukraine?
No. There's never going to be, in my judgment, no American will ever set foot. It's not going to happen. After the fuck up in Vietnam, after the fuck up in Afghanistan, after the other fuck ups, the American public doesn't give a shit about anybody outside Kansas. I mean, that's it. They just don't.
Especially now, the U.S. Army has such a high obesity rate because of the contract. U.S. Army is
Yes, sir.
What's going to be the number 3 after Corona and Ukraine?
If we've underestimated, if the Federal Reserve, Powell, has underestimated more than they think, and interest rates are uncontrollable. Interest rates go up 500, 700%, 700 points, 7 percentage points. The country is going to go into borderline, not just recession, but deep depression, which is better for us. I'm not wishing it. Anything bad that happens is good for us. Some things are better. Did you spill your dinner on your chest?
Yeah, I got a little happy.
Yeah. I was wondering. Yeah. Okay. I'm always looking down at my chest. That's why I always used to carry 2 or 3 ties. Yeah, I never wanted to. Some people tuck their ties in. I don't like it, and I always carried in my briefcase a couple of shirts and 2 or 3 ties. And unfortunately, I mostly used them because the more I drank, the sloppier I got. But you don't look sloppy right now. Okay, well, you're holding it better than I did. But kids, I mean, it's our market. And when you see somebody like Mitchell, I'm not going to ask you what you think. You should be ashamed. You see Josh, all these guys. I don't know how you justify it in your mind. And you've met Josh, young lady. And so I'm proud of that. Josh has turned into an arrogant prick now since he met you, but a lot of the kids have, and it's hard when you're that young, when you make a shit ton of money to stay level. It is. Even some of you ugly fuckers, all of a sudden you're going to be good looking. You're not really good looking, but you're going to think you're good looking. And and no matter how many times your mother tells you, or your big sister tells you, you're going to think you're good looking. And it has nothing to do with, the plane you have or the this and that. Remember the last comment, Roberto, because fairly level-headed guy, said, Dan, tell Sally I got a this and a that. These are $1 million cars. And Sally teased him, you have all this money, drive around dog shit. And they weren't dog shit cars, but they weren't, the cars you would attribute to a guy that had that kind of money. And so the last comment from a guy, he's got self-esteem, tell Sally I did. Because Sally's kind of the level benchmark. The sobriety check, the fact check. Sally we don't even put the DB7 out. She has a James Bond car. We don't put the Ferrari out anymore, which is because we're a 3-year-old family. That's kind of the catchphrase. Especially since I do not drive and haven't driven for 25 years. But again, our kids, they're like we drive Toyotas. They sit in here and they get their sleeping bags, because like they did it to little boys and girls, and they sleep on the couches. Spoiled little shits they are. But they've been successful on their own. They got their own jobs. Okay. Yes, sir.
So, why is it so hard for Filipinos to stick to one? Why do they have so many initiatives?
Okay. EJ, you want to answer that? Okay. Because there's the Filipino culture, but you're not from there. You're just born with a name. Your parents are from there. Because there's being a high-performance person in the Philippines is a high priority. And EJ comes from a good family. Kat, there she is over there, comes from a good family. But there are not that many good families. To cut to the chase. And for those of that are not from the Philippines, as these two kids are, born and bred there, there haven't been high priorities. The highest priority for a lot of Filipinos is to leave the country and get as many of their relatives to the USA or to the UK as possible. Remittance, meaning money that's sent from the Filipinos outside the countries back to the Philippines, represents 40% of GDP. So 40% of the gross national product comes from Filipinos sending money back to the Philippines. So the model is on its head. So they're not looking for high performance. But there's plenty of high performance Filipinos, i.e., I hired 1,500 Filipinos while I was there. I have 5 employees now. Is that right, Ken? Yeah. 5. 2 of the 5 are here. I still remember when EJ, the guy that was 1 or 2 levels ahead of EJ, he lasted 1 day. And so we brought EJ in, and whether EJ knew what the fuck he was doing or not, he said he knew how to do it. Not dissimilar to myself. And, and he's had countless projects since then. And he always says he can do it. And so far, EJ, you've always been able to do it. Yeah. Except my microphone. Yeah. Now we have microphones.
Can I just say something about batteries?
Yeah.
I do high altitude hiking, like Himalayas. So the batteries actually wear off very fast. The higher you go, the higher the energy, the faster they go on. So maybe you're emitting that energy.
Well, I emit. Well, we've had some tests.
It's not
5 or 7, 8 years ago. We did some tests about how much energy I emit an aura. Some people say it's green, some people say it's blue. And I emit 3 to 5 times more energy than you do. You do. I emit it.
Yeah, and microphones are just
Yeah. And I used to think that was why I had prowess in bed. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But I have a lot. I've always had excessive energy. Always. That coupled with I always pull the trigger, and I don't do spreadsheets like most of you. You know, I rather, I may be wrong, but I'm never in doubt. And I know how to make wrong things right. I know how to be anti-gravity. And when you've been right as much as I have, you don't even think about the possibility of it not working. Because you know if it doesn't work, I can make it work. And now I build a category around myself that feels the same. They can make shit work.
In Russia, it's called turning shit into candy.
Well, and I can turn candy into whatever was beyond candy. I have no problem convincing people, governments, that no, that may be your study, but I can make it work. Now, so you wouldn't do that. If the preponderance of evidence, if the preponderance of research, if the preponderance of science says you can't do it, you wouldn't say you could. And I would. Bill Gates would. Steve Jobs would.
So when I close my first deal, and how can I show you?
Don't tell me the 87-year-old guy. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Whatever it is, I'm looking for many other deals. And by the way, I may get Ben Carson.
Congratulations. That'd be a coup.
I will let you know.
That'd be a coup. Ben Carson is the former secretary
I'm
or
actually
whatever.
pulling my strings.
I mean, he'd be terrific.
I'm pulling. We'll see.
Okay, kids. I'm going to, without exposing my balls, the best I can. Sally?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you.